Well, our little corner has taken a little sojourn north of the border to Hemingford, Quebec. I started this bit about 20 seconds ago and called it Huntington, but Hemingford, Quebec. And we're at Parc Safari, and boy, does things look a little different from the last time I was here. Danny Kyle, how are you doing?
Just great. Had a great start to the season here, and hopefully have a great summer. Hope the weather will continue this way. We've done some major changes to the look of the park here over the last 8 months since we closed the '97 season. And behind us we see our new what we call Dakar Street, which houses boutique facilities, restaurant facilities, guest services. We basically tripled the size of our boutique area, added a sit-down air-conditioned restaurant, which is open to the public at night also, where you can make reservations and come in after 5 o'clock and then come in to eat and enjoy the park itself at a very reduced cost. And it should be it is a major change for us here at Parc Safari, and represents probably the single largest investment we've ever made in this place.
You know, for people who haven't been in this parking lot in a few years as I have, it's a little bit confusing because things have changed. Over here to my right as we sit here, what did that used to be over there?
Over there used to be our main restaurant facilities, and just behind here where the rides are was the main walk-in area to the park itself. So you had to walk through the ride area, then up through to the lake area and all the different shows and our animal sections in the back here. What we've done now is the main walk-in area is now through Dakar Street here, entrance and exit. And once you get up into what we call Plast Jambo, which Jambo is a Swahili word meaning welcome.
Oh, boy, he's got it all.
There we go.
I love it.
And from there you go through the ride sections and up to the lake area and to all our different shows and the elevated jungle walkway, the deer trail, and all the other things that we do have here at the park.
Before we look around, I want to get a little history of this place, because the Parc Safari's been here for a while.
Yeah, we opened our doors on July 15th, 1972. At that time it was owned by an American corporation who owned similar other parks to us in and around the world, in Germany, in England, and also Great Adventure in New Jersey at that point, which is owned by Six Flags now. They operated us through 1983 when they ran into some financial difficulties, not basically here, but in other stuff that they were doing, drained this place of a lot of its cash flow, and we were within 6 days of going to bankruptcy here.
No kidding.
Yeah. And at that point, myself, John Moran, who's still my partner here at the park, and a third partner, Dave Jackson, decided to give it a go. Purchased it for its debts, which was about $750,000 at the time, and figured, probably very young and naive and didn't know what we were getting into, but figured we could turn it around. We'd all been here for a length of time. And gave it a shot. We're all very young, 25 to 30 years old at that point. We've basically had the philosophy of reinvesting all our profits back into the park over the last 15 years. I've probably invested $6 or $7 million over the last 15 years to upgrade our facilities here. And people that are familiar with the park will realize that all our lake area, our elevated jungle walkway, deer park, all our show areas are all new since we took it over in the last 15 years. We've increased our attendance from 140,000 a year in 1983 to around 325,000 people a year presently, and hopefully with this new Dakar Street we'll actually attract more people and keep them here a longer length of time also too. Average length of stay right now is 7+ hours for a family.
Ooh, wow.
So it's basically a full day if you want to see and do everything and partake in all the activities here at the park. We've made some major changes as far as pricing and things like that, so that right now it's one price. Everything's included, rides, shows, water area, in the one price deal. And for a family, it's $79 Canadian maximum for a family of up to 7 people. Which in US dollars is probably not a whole lot of dollars right now.
Oh, very, a lot less than that.
A lot less than that, that's for sure. So it's a good deal for our American neighbors, for sure,
Wow.
for sure, up here in Canada.
Not only that, but the access here. Tell people where you're located and how they get here from the States, for example.
We're about 10 minutes north of the Canadian-US border off I-87. 10-15 minutes maximum. So I-87 North, when you cross into Canada, it's Route 15. Stay on Route 15. It's the second exit in Canada, exit number 6, and we've got blue tourist signs that'll get you from the exit to the park. We're about 6 kilometers, so what's that, about 4 miles from the exit off Highway 15.
Not very far.
Not very far.
They can come in the other direction too, through Moores.
They can come through Moores. Also, it's Route 22 up north into Hemmingford. Once you get into Hemmingford, at the stoplight in Hemmingford, turn right and come down Route 202, and we're not that far out of Hemmingford, about 3 miles out of Hemmingford also too. So if they come up through the Moores area also.
Well, it's one of those things that people don't think about every year. I haven't been up here as my family's grown older. I haven't been up here in several years, and it's kind of a pleasant surprise to see that you've really injected some energy into this place.
Well, we were very much due for a facelift. Our restaurant and boutique facilities had been here for the last 25 years or so, and we've been contemplating this change for the last number of years, and finally made the leap here. We probably didn't pick the right winter to do it, due to the fact that we ended up losing the whole month of January because of the ice storm, and which put us behind schedule as far as opening a lot of these facilities when we opened on May 23rd. Presently, everything's opening and running, and although there's a lot of work to do still behind the scenes, but as far as our visitors go and our guests go, everything's pretty much up to speed for them at this point.
You know, wherever we go with our cameras and our microphones, everybody's got a story about the ice storm. And when we drove in here today, you said, "Look at this! Not a tree escaped." And that, you know, as Calvin said when we parked the car, trees are a very important part of Parc Safari. So you ought to have that sinking feeling, as so many other people did around January 8th.
Definitely. I mean, we. In looking at this place afterwards, there wasn't a single tree on our whole property that wasn't touched. We had a crew of 15 to 20 people that worked for 4 entire months just cleaning up the site, along with a crane that was here for some 4 weeks or 5 weeks, topping off trees and that. We've had to cut a lot of trees. Hopefully those, with the warm, humid and rainy weather we've had, it's been very good for the trees, and hopefully those that are left will be able to survive the summer, get through the next winter, and then it should be fine. We here in Hemmingford are at the park. We're without power for 28 days.
28 days?
28 days. And so which necessitated us to go out and get some generators. We had a couple of generators, but not to last us for an entire month. And we were able to procure 3 or 4 big generators, which allowed us to heat and light all our barn area, because all our animals do stay here year-round.
Oh, yeah.
And Hydro-Quebec up here was nice enough to lend us a generator when we were into our 3rd week. We were able to power up most of our facilities with that. So our main focus during that whole month was the health and welfare of our animals. They are the mainstay of our business, and I'm proud to say that we didn't lose a single animal during this entire month's time. So we were very proud of that. Our staff worked extraordinary during that time, put in a lot of extra hours, a lot of extra time under very difficult conditions, and they're to be commended for the amount of work that they did during that month. But like everybody's got stories about that entire month, and people seem to really pull together during that length of time. I know here at the park we had a lot of transformers that we used for our ride area and different other stuff that the electricians came in and took away and borrowed for other more important facilities where they needed transformers to transform some of the generator power down to could be used at 110 and 220. We lent a lot of stuff out to Hemmingford in the area, our dump truck for cleaning up a lot of the woods and for also bringing in wood for the citizens. So everybody really pulled together in this community. I'm sure that they did in every community around here during that month's time.
It sounds to me like this whole project here, Parc Safari, is kind of a labor of love for you and the people who work for you. You must become quite a family after a while.
We sure do. I personally have been here for 25 odd years.
Come on!
Yeah.
You only look about 32.
I started here as a student when I was 15 years old. And my other partner, John Moran, is in about the same situation. He started here the year before I did as a zookeeper, basically feeding and cleaning animals, and so it's very much part of me and part of him. And we have a lot of people here that's been here an awful long time. Managers and other people that have been here at 15, 18, 20, 25 years. We're very much a family, although we are growing. We employ some 275 people here in the summertime. Wow. Big staff, a lot of students. It's great for the students. They get to work with other students, get to work outside, get to work with the public. A lot of students who come here very shy and reserved after a summer are no longer shy and reserved because they can't be. We have a whole big training program that we use for all the students to get them involved with the public. It's customer service is our number one priority. It's so important. It's very important, and we like to say that we have the friendliest staff here in the province of Quebec, and we try and do our best to continue that reputation that we do have as a real friendly staff. And there's no problem with language. Everything's fairly bilingual around here. Obviously the province of Quebec being 90% French speaking, most of our clientele are French speaking, but most of our staff either speak enough English to get by or can find somebody that's fairly bilingual. So that's not a problem up here at all. I insist everybody make an effort to speak in whatever language the customer talks in.
Get some Swahili here.
Exactly.
You're gonna be in big trouble.
That's just funny. We used a lot of Swahili for a lot of the signage that we put in here. We had a lot of fun putting this together. It's been a lot of work, a lot of investment, but it's been good. And we have a great staff here. We have a great group of people that work for us.
You people have guts to even try to maintain a project like this in a part of the country that the weather is not always cooperative. I mean, this is not Daytona Beach.
Oh, not at all. It's very difficult. I mean, we're open for about I think it's 117 days, and of which you can really count about an 80-day season now to Labor Day.
You better get to work in the morning.
Exactly, yeah, and the sun better come out and not rain too much and during that length of time. It works though. As an owner manager and John himself too, my other partner, we're here on a daily basis. You sort of have to be. You can't be an absentee owner in this business. And I work with all the kids, and then they see me around a lot, and I get very involved in what's going on. And my wife may complain I work too many hours, but it's a short period of time. It's very important that things run very well. We're in fact the largest privately owned zoo facility here in Canada, and as such receive no government aid whatsoever. We're completely 100% privately owned, so there's no government aid comes in here at all. So it's very important that we can maintain a profitability that we can add back to the product year in, year out, and continue to run like that. Most zoos, not only here in Canada but in the U.S. also, receive a lot of whether it be city or state or federal dollars, and a lot of them are run by cities, run a deficit. Metro Toronto Zoo, which is the biggest zoo here in Canada, runs at a $20 million deficit every year.
No, you can't afford to do that.
Can't afford to do that here. Or a lot of the other zoo facilities are owned like by Anheuser-Busch or big corporations like that can afford to throw a lot of dollars into their place. We don't have that luxury here, so we've had to make do with minimal investments of $250,000, $500,000 every year or two to upgrade our facilities, and it's worked very well. It's worked very, very well.
I'm sure a lot of people are glad that you're still here after that close call. I didn't realize you were that close to shutting right down, going out of business.
Yeah, it's very good for the local economy, that's for sure. I mean, we pump millions of dollars back into the economy here every year and provide employment for a lot of people around this area. And it's for Hemmingford. Hemmingford, I think Parc Safari sort of put it on the map. And
I think you're right.
Yeah, and it's when I look back, I sort of say I don't think we really knew what we were getting into 15 years ago. It's had a lot of ups and a lot of downs. But in general, it's worked out very, very well.
There's a lot worse ways to make a living. I'm sure you're happy with it. I can tell just by talking with you. Normally, before we begin a tour of a place like this, I would ask you what you did for a living before this, but you spent your entire adult life here, so I don't have to ask that question.
That's very true. I don't know what I do without this business. I really don't. And in doing that, I've become sort of a jack of all trades, getting involved in marketing and actually writing television commercials and radio commercials, getting involved in merchandising, whether it be in our boutique, getting involved in putting together menus for our restaurants, and hiring people and training people. And so it's a little bit of everything all the way along here. Same with John also too, who's very involved in a lot of different ends of it. John is probably one of the foremost experts in keeping exotic animals in captivity here in Canada, and he's presently the Vice President of the Canadian Zoo Association.
Wow.
And will be president in a couple of years. So it's been quite a ride here for the last 20 years or so, and I'm very proud of what we've accomplished and what our team here has accomplished over that length of time, and I'm very proud of this new area here at Dakar Street, which is when people come here, the first reaction I'm getting from everybody is wow.
Yeah, well, that's exactly
wow.
The way we were, like little kids driving into the parking lot.
Yeah.
And the phrase, I guess, is "you ain't seen nothing yet." I can still hear machinery working in the background, so that'll be an ongoing labor.
It'll be an
of love.
ongoing thing. Yeah, a lot of the back areas are not quite finished yet. So, but that doesn't affect the public at this point. But our employees are having to eat in parking lots and whatever else like that. But eventually, we'll get that all together here in the next couple of months.
Well, it took us a little while to lay the groundwork, but I think we have, and we're going to take you on the inside in just a moment. The minute we walked onto Dakar Street, a beautiful breeze blew through, and I said, "Thank you, Lord." Boy, that feels good, man.
It feels great, huh? Yeah, that's for sure.
We're on the inside here. Describe what you've got and what you hope to accomplish when it's all finished. Just look around here.
As you first walk in, all along the left side of Dakar Street is our boutiques. We have about 8,500 square feet of boutique at this point. The normal souvenir stuff that you find in places like ours, T-shirts and things like that. We've also gone out. Our manager has gone to India and Africa and imported a lot of different things that you won't find everywhere. I'll take you through the boutique afterwards, but there's a lot of African carvings and things that come from Indonesia and things that come from India that are really neat. The outside here is not quite finished. There's some wrought iron fencing to go along the second story here. We've got plants and flags and different other color to put in here to liven up the street quite a bit. As you can see down here, we still got a lift truck that they're still doing some work. We've also come up with some very unique names for all these different boutiques.
I noticed that.
Azazia, which is a boutique basically of stuff from Indonesia and things like that. Los Incas, which sounds Mexican, so there's a lot of articles from Mexico in there also. Another one, Serengeti, which is our African boutique. A little farther down, there's a Kilimanjaro, which is a famous mountain in Africa, which is snow-capped, which is our Christmas boutique. And then we've got another souvenir boutique at the end called Timbuktu, which is a famous trading post in Africa also.
Of course, it would have to be.
There we go. And then across the middle of Dakar Street at the far end here is our Zanzibar, which is a bar terrace on the second story, which overlooks both sides of the street here.
That's nice.
It's really nice. Up there in the summertime, you get a very good view of everything that's going on here. On the right-hand side, when we first come in here, is our information booth. As you can see, it's not quite finished. Still plastering the joints and putting some paint on it, but and all these poussettes, these strollers that you see outside here will be put inside. Next to it will be an exhibition gallery. We hope to, in the next year or so, get a couple of artisans in here, especially from Africa, that'll come over and do some wood carvings and things like that right on site. Beautiful. And then maybe put in some stuff in there about the history of the park and different other things like that also. After that, which is not quite open yet, will be our candy shop. We're going to make some fudge on site and sell candy, which, with all the kids that are here, should be very popular also. Further down is our new restaurant called Loco Loco, which is very much on a train theme, and we'll go in there afterwards and we'll show you the theme in there. It's really superb. It's you walk in there and the reaction I get is that I don't believe we're at Parc Safari. So it's and then after that, around the corner is all our fast foods areas and our restaurant facilities. And when we open up, after we walk through the street here, we'll open up what we call Plast Jambo. Jambo meaning welcome, or welcome basically in Swahili. and we have a rock formation in the middle of that. Instead of putting a fountain, we did something along Parc Safari lines that's really different also too.
What a wonderful place. How long did it take to plan for this part of it?
It's sort of been in the works for the last 5 years or so. Nothing really got on paper until last summer. We knew what we wanted. It was just a matter of, okay, I want boutiques, I want restaurants, I want it to look like this. This is where I want it to go. So it's just a matter of getting with the architects and with the designers and putting our ideas into functional form.
The architect never said, no, you can't do that. Are you nuts?
Well, you know, and both John and I had been around to enough parks throughout Canada and the U.S. to sort of pick and choose the good and the best from each one of these places. You know, the street, you see a lot of parks that run the street. Disney, for example, run their own Main Street USA type deal. And this is not Disney by any means, but the ideas come from places such as that. And so we were very much putting things together last summer here, and then as soon as we closed on the 7th of September last year, we started the demolition project, which took about 3 months to do, to basically demolish what we did have here so we can go and build the rest of the stuff, put all the foundations in, and started the erections of the buildings here at the end of January. So we've done a lot of work since the end of January. The 20th of January, there was absolutely nothing here at all except foundations.
You must have been in a state of panic for a few weeks.
Because we were a month behind schedule, so it really...
how are we ever going to get open?
Yeah. And then we covered everything here with interlocking brick, which really made a difference.
Really nice.
It's really nice, and it's a lot better than what we've had before. We've had some interlocking brick up around the water area that we put in about 8 years ago, and it's so nice. It's so much better than asphalt, and it makes it a much cleaner, more classy look. And it's very easy to maintain. It sort of gives and takes with our winter here too, and you don't have all the heaving problems that you do with asphalt.
A lot of small children here today. I might mention that we're recording this interview the day after the holiday, Saint Jean Baptiste Day. A lot of kids are out of school, all excited about summer holiday.
That's correct. I think we've got some groups in today. Looks like some summer camps and things like that. And they seem to be all dressed the same here today. Yeah, our clientele is very much families, mom and dad with kids under 12. That's basically what we cater to and who we cater to here. So we do, most of what we do here is geared towards that business. Although there are a lot of single adults that do come here, couples and things like that, or grandparents with their grandkids.
I've seen a lot of senior citizens enjoying themselves here too.
Yeah, there's lots of, what's nice now too is with this restaurant too, the seniors have really been looking for a place where they could go in, relax, sit down, air conditioned, and eat a fairly decent lunch, not your typical French fry, chili dogs type thing. And with our new Loco Loco, it really fits that bill. What we've seen is we have a lot more senior citizen groups that are coming here now too, because we can offer them that deal also too.
That's great. Well, let's take a walk and see what we can see. Well, you promised you'd take us inside the boutiques, and you did. This is the first one.
Yeah, this is, they're sort of all interconnected. You can walk from one boutique to the next. There's sort of a theming involved from one boutique to the next. And it's all sorts of different stuff from all over the world here. We see some articles, a lot of these articles from Indonesia and India. This was made in Indonesia, for example. And a lot of animal carvings, masks, things that you really can't find in your normal, typical souvenir shop. Of course, we still have the souvenirs like our Parc Safari shirts and things like that with our name on it. That is very important that people like to buy also. Very
unique stuff here, and you said there's more on the way. All your supplies aren't in yet.
All our supplies aren't in yet. We actually have a container coming from India that's on the water at the present time. Should be here in the next week or so. So hopefully that'll add to what we have. We've got a lot of sort of bigger pieces up here that's very neat. These
we can slide over this way and let Calvin get over our shoulder. This is really neat.
Maasai hand-carved ebony from Africa here. It's directly from Kenya. It's really, they weigh a few pounds, that's for sure. A lot of hand-carved trunks and different other stuff like that. Up here in the back, there's a lot of animals that are actually leather animals that come directly from India, which are very popular also too. People seem to like the medium size. There's an elephant right over here on the.
Everybody
right
likes
there.
Elephants.
There we go. It's
Everybody
all
likes Raymond and elephants.
Yeah, it's all made of leather. It's rather unique pieces and something you just don't find everywhere.
How do you go about choosing all this stuff?
We have an absolutely great boutique manager. She's been with us actually since before the park opened in 1972. And
that's experience.
for sure. And she does a lot of buying trips. She goes out to different places. This year she was in India, and just finding a lot of unique and different articles that we can put in our boutiques. And to be very honest with you, you can find these things elsewhere in Montreal and things like that, but our pricing here is real good. Our philosophy has been, not only in the boutique too, but also in the restaurants too, is to make it affordable for the family. I personally don't like when I go somewhere and have to pay $6 for a beer, and you see a lot of that happen up here in some of the facilities that we have here around Montreal. So it's very one of the comments I do get from our visitors is that you guys aren't that expensive. You know, it's very reasonably priced, not only food but boutiques and just for the whole day here. So it's important to me that a family comes and they come back again, and then they enjoy themselves when they.
No reason why they only have to come once in the summer.
Exactly, and if they go away happy, they're going to tell their friends and their relatives and their acquaintances, hey, it's a great place, come out and see Parc Safari. If they didn't enjoy their day, they're going to go back and tell probably more people not to go there. So it's very important that all aspects of this, from our animal collection to the boutiques and the restaurants and our personnel, just create an experience that they go home just happy. I mean, our slogan this year is "We create smiles," and if everybody that leaves here leaves with a smile on their face, then I think we've done our job, and we provided someone with a great place to come and visit for the day.
Does this place ever get out of your mind? I mean, do you wake up in the middle of the night saying, "Oh, I know where I can put that"?
Yeah, very much so.
Pretty hard to escape.
Pretty hard to escape, especially during the summer months. During the summer months, there's so much going on, especially this time of year. Once we get into, say, end of July and August, it's sort of on autopilot, and we cruise through the rest of the season. But especially with all the changes here we've made this summer, yeah, there's a lot of things to see and do, and a lot of things not quite like that. I like it like this, and we've got some great people here that do a lot of good work for us too. I mean, it's not just John and myself that do everything here. You can't. It's impossible. You have to put your trust into people that basically run boutiques or restaurants as if it's their own, and it's great. It's very much a family-oriented approach.
Well, it's absolutely hands-on as far as you're concerned too. I can see that you're involved in just about every aspect of it, one way or the other.
Yeah, as much as I can, although I realized recently that we're getting so big that there's no way I can know and or be involved in everything that's happening. But just the general overall view and putting the general overall together, which is important now, and leaving the more details to other people to look after.
That's good. We're going to slide down the line and take a look at a lot more here at Parc Safari. As Calvin and I drove north with our hometown cable equipment from Champlain to come up to Parc Safari today, we were greeted at the border by a couple of young ladies who handed us some brochures and magazines about things that are happening in the province of Quebec and around Canada. And of course, one of them talked about Parc Safari, and I learned a new phrase today, forfaits. What does that mean?
Forfait is basically a French translation of package. It's sort of an all-inclusive word that for us a forfait is a day here at Parc Safari and a night at a hotel room. We actually have forfaits that include a day here, a day at La Ronde, which is the main amusement park here in Montreal, and other different activities, and a couple of 1, 2, even 3 nights at hotels. It's sort of a mini vacation, basically, where if you're coming from a large distance or a long distance, and after spending 7 or 8 hours here with your 2 children, don't want to drive 3 hours to go home, you can stay at a hotel. And it's sort of an all-inclusive package. Most of our forfaits sell in Canadian dollars for in and around $110 Canadian, which is, 60 US or so.
Here we go again.
There we go. 60, 70 US, probably 70 US. And includes a complete day at the park for 4 people and a hotel
Think
stay.
about that. Think about these prices. That amazes me.
So it's a pretty good deal. And this year, for the first time, we've started to do what we call the Plattsburgh package, wherein there's 3 or 4 hotels that we're working with in Plattsburgh. Same type of scenario where it's a day at the park and a day at the hotel. So someone that's coming up from wherever, Lake George region or somewhere in that area, or even Burlington, who don't or want to stay around this area for a day or two, can do us and can do maybe Sable Chasm or something like that, all in the same deal.
packages and do Lake Placid and the high peaks
like
and the whole bit. Yeah, sure.
And it's been very popular. Last summer, for instance, we sold in excess of 5,000 hotel rooms.
Come on.
Yeah, with these packages. Wow. So it's been very, very popular. It's coming increasingly popular in this province. Basically, it's a mini vacation where you have a day, 2 or 3, and so it's worked out very well for us.
That's terrific. And you know, as you said before, your work is never done in the evening, and even in the winter times when you should be able to take a few months off, you're scheming and marketing. You got to have a plan for next year, and you've done that already.
Well, yeah, for sure. I mean, a lot of, especially publications, the lead time is so long that you have to get all your artwork and that to the printer and approved and everything done by Christmas, January. So it means the fall months, next year's pricing have to be set, next year's hours of operation have to be set. Any new facilities that you're doing have to be talked about, written about, so that they get it all in these publications for the following summer. If you're talking television or radio, it's a different story. That's a week or 2 week lead time, so you can do a lot of that in the spring. Although we do shoot a lot of our stock footage for our TV commercials in August for the following year, because in the spring our water facilities and that, it's just too cold to shoot. And so we will shoot here in August for next year's commercial, and then come back in May and June and shoot the remaining X number of seconds that we're missing for the commercials. Unlike a lot of other places, we try to change our commercial from year to year, which means a lot of work. Make it new, make it more vibrant. We change our brochure every single year, so it's new artwork, new approach. The same buzzwords come back up in the brochures, but it's still a new look for someone that's looking at brochures.
Well, the whole place has a new look anyway. You'd have to do it this year, wouldn't you?
Oh, for sure, for sure. So there's a lot of planning that goes on. As soon as we close here, I like to say once we get to the middle of August, where I'm already working on next year. There's not much I can do about this year. It's over, done with, and we've done our effort for that point, so we're already working on next year. And as far as renovations, the best time to work up in the North Country here is September, October, November. The weather's usually very good. You don't have to worry about spring rains slowing down progress outside. So any new innovations that you're doing, we try and do a lot of the legwork or most of the work that we can do in the fall months when we're closed for the following spring.
Any more gigantic plans like this for next year, or is this going to top off your massive changes for a season anyway?
Well, for a season, I think we're just going to sit down and take a deep breath here and work the kinks out. Anytime you get involved in a new project such as this, there's obviously some kinks involved. Nothing major, but just get things running smoothly. And we're looking at probably redoing our main entrance area to accommodate the inflow of people so that they can spend less time in line getting in the front gates. Everybody wants to be here at 10 o'clock in the morning, and we're running, 2,000, 2,500 cars trying to get in here between 10 and noon. It gets to be a traffic jam. So we're looking at redoing that area, putting in more lanes to get a faster flow of people coming into the park. so they don't spend half an hour sitting in their car getting in here. That's probably the next project that we're looking at doing. Whether we do it next spring or not, I'm not really sure.
Depends how good the summer is.
That was going to be my next sentence. Very much so. Yeah, it depends how good the summer is. We also have plans for in the future. We own 800 acres total, of which we have about 275 to 300 developed. So we've got a lot of room to expand. Wow, I've never seen one like that.
Oh my goodness, look at this.
There's a stroller for you.
I hope those aren't all the members of the same family.
I hope not.
Oh, wow. Isn't that amazing?
There you go.
That's enough to make you take a deep breath and say, whoa, look at that. I was looking at the expressions on people's faces as they walk in here, and I think this whole idea of Dakar Street is going to be a huge success.
I think it is too. That's the reaction I'm getting from the public that's coming in here right now. Obviously, we hope to, we're in business too. We hope to increase our sales in our boutique and our restaurants by adding these new facilities. It seems to be working so far along those lines also too. And I don't know, to me it just adds a little bit more professionalism to our facility here, and it's upgrade us to I hate to say, but a sort of a world-class facility now. I think.
Why do you hate to say it? Say it.
It's up to It's okay. It's upgraded to a world-class facility, so it's that we can be all very proud of in this rural community up here in the North Country.
It's kind of amazing to have this place here. There aren't very many like it in all of Canada. I'll tell you that.
No, there's not. That's for sure. And especially this far north, it's not one of these places that. Is easily run, and obviously if you were down in Virginia or a little farther south, you can get another month on either end of your season would make a big difference. But
he's been here since he was 15. He's going to keep doing it till he gets it right. We're going to continue our tour of Parc Safari in just a moment. As we walk along into other parts of this great facility along Dakar Street, we notice that the designers did a magnificent job in here. You said it looked a little different before all the stuff got in here, but everywhere you go, there's just something slightly different. All those wonderful masks and columns and hangings and...
the space you need to sell merchandise in, but you have to create a whole ambiance around there that when people come in here, they feel that this ambiance that's around them. All the masks that are up on the walls here, I don't know how many there are. There's quite a few of them all the way along. Probably like 20 or 30 of them, all different, not one the same. Just the detail on these stone columns, which look very, very realistic. All the hanging artwork down from the ceiling here, all different colors. There's not one of them the same either, and it just really sort of adds to the whole atmosphere. The huts over the points of sale down there, which are all made here on place. The second one, which is a grass hut, is all stuff that comes out of the ditches around here.
No kidding.
Yeah, exactly. I don't remember what type of, it's like bulrushes type thing, but and let it dry and put it all together. And once it gets up there, it looks really neat. And when they're originally telling me about this, I says, okay.
The ditches,
there we go. But hey, it looks really good. Actually, we're looking at using that design for other different things outside here in the future. And so the attention to detail was pretty good. Obviously, a lot of other things I'd like to have done, but you got budget constraints and different other things like that. But all the furniture in here too, that all the display counters were all made to order for our own specifications. They're all laid out too, so that people at the caches have full view of everybody all the way around here. Very much a circular manner. And so a lot of attention done to the way that it was laid out. The floor covering, which is sort of a rubbery vinyl, which is very comfortable for people to walk on.
Will hopefully last forever.
Yeah, exactly. And very comfortable for our employees to stand on during the day, because it's just basically on cement, but it doesn't feel like that. Just a lot of different things. Yeah.
This area now is more the traditional souvenir type.
Yes, it is. Here we have more of the traditional souvenirs, and in the back here, this is more of a kids area with all sorts of toys and trinkets and different stuff like that come in. Mom, I want this, and Dad, I want that, and
hopefully
there we go. Yeah.
And I like your idea of ultimately getting some artisans in here to show people what they can do You know, people like to stand and watch somebody make something or carve something.
Exactly. It's amazing when I just stand and watch them do these things and what they make out of nothing, basically. I mean, it's amazing what you can do with a little bit of styrofoam and cement and all Polymar and all this other plywood, and when it gets done, it's just like, oh wow, it looks really real, and yeah, it's great to see.
Now we're looking back to the boutique area on Dakar Street, and we're in Plast
Jambo. Jambo is Swahili for welcome.
Yep. And around here, what are we looking at?
Well,
First of all, I love this.
Yeah, in the middle of the plaza here itself is. We didn't know what to do. Everybody puts in a fountain with water and or whatever else. Originally, we were looking at a totem pole with animals all carved on the pole, and I don't know who came up with this idea of creating sort of a rock formation with all the different animals on this. We've got, I think, 6 or 8 different animals, from a giraffe at the top, we have a lion here and a rhinoceros, an elephant on the side, and I think there's an ostrich and a monkey and a zebra on the back end of it. And also around the rock formation is the footprints of all the animals here. Not necessarily the animal that you're looking at in front of you, so the kids can find out what footprint belongs to what animal and stick their feet in it. It's a sort of a unique piece. I don't really see anything like it anywhere else, and very unique.
Photo opportunity.
Exactly. Huh? Kids crawl all over it, and lots of pictures taken here. In the plaza itself here, also in the back here is our stage area where we do a couple of shows at night. One show with our mascots at 6 o'clock at night called the Filuminus, is sort of 3 cats that do a sort of a fun type music show. And then we do a rock and roll show, music at 7:30 in the evening off this stage area here too. And this whole area here will eventually be filled with the picnic tables. We'll lose them. We'll be filled with tables and umbrellas and that for people to eat outside. Right now we're looking at the fast food areas here. Stuff from pizza to chicken to submarines to ice cream to your hot dogs and hamburgers and normal things like that. A place for them to actually eat inside in the fast food areas, which we didn't have before. So on rainy days, people were stuck standing outside getting wet and eating their food. So we found also in the couple of rainy days that we've had here since we've been open, it's been very popular for people to be in there also.
And there'll be signs up there?
There will be signs up there too. Right now there's signs inside. Our menus aren't here yet. I don't know if you can see a menu there on a piece of gyprock right now.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And they should be here in a couple of weeks though. Again, we're sort of a work in process, some of these things here. But the restaurants are fully functional and fully running.
That must have been no small job to get this baby open on time. I can't imagine what hassles you went through.
You should have seen this place the week before we opened, that's for sure. Yeah, a lot of painting and ceramic work and everything else in the last minute here. It was really amazing. And some of these restaurants weren't actually open the 23rd of May when we opened, and they opened along the way here. But yeah, quite interesting.
You know, it's kind of fun for people to come this summer, especially to see the work in progress, you know. For people like me to come here having seen none of this, then to come back and bring my family and my grandchildren back later in the summer and say, this is what happened, take a look at this video and now look at it. You know?
I had some employees that helped us work on the destruction end of it and the putting of the foundations in that in the fall through December. Got back here in May and just went, whoa, what happened here? It's like, hey, we saw this place before it got up, and yeah, it's quite amazing. Yeah, it sure is. Back behind me here is the main entrance to the amusement ride area and all the games of skill that we have all along this area. We have a nice little fruit stand here where you can buy fresh fruit. Those that don't want to get all these greasy hamburgers and hot dogs or whatever else. And then next to it, which is very popular with the kids, is a face painting thing. So
always is.
Yeah, for $2 or $3, you can have your face painted up. And Gail, who works in there, is really great. She does a super job with the kids.
Whatever they want, they got.
They got. There we go. And then beyond that, where people are walking up there, is the entrance to the rest of the park. Our the elevated walkway, the water area, the main show area. This year we've got, besides the 2 shows that I mentioned here, we've got a bird of prey show where we actually fly eagles, hawks, falcons, and a couple of other birds in this show. They do a demonstration of flight, and with all sorts of sound effects and music and storyline to go along with the show. It's very popular also. And our other show in our theater in the woods is a gentleman by the name of Johnny Piers, who worked for me about 10 or 11 years ago, at the time when we had the circus here. Since then he's gone on, he's worked for Ringling, he's worked for the Big Apple Circus that was here in Shelburne last fall. I went down and talked to him and pried him away from that and got him up here to work for us this summer.
You're a master.
He does an absolutely great dog comedy act. He's a clown by training, and he's got, I don't know, 20-odd dogs that he's collected from SPCAs and from animal shelters and stray dogs, and he's all a menagerie of sizes and shapes and breeds and whatever else. That he does a great job with a comedy act, dog act with them, and it's nice to see animals that basically probably would have been put to sleep if he hadn't been there, and he's taken them and given them a great life and provide entertainment for
That's
people.
Really
it's
decent plan.
It's really neat.
What a great idea.
He's great. He's worth coming to see here at the park. He does a super fun show.
You told me that the average stay here is what, 7.5 hours. It seems to me like you wouldn't want to go home after 7 hours.
Yeah, that's what it was last year. Hopefully we'll improve it a little bit this year.
Yeah.
There's lots to do and see. And the comment I get from a lot of our guests here is that, oh, we didn't see everything, or we didn't have a chance to do everything, especially on hot days when they want to spend an hour or 2 or 3 or whatever else in the water. So then they don't get a chance to see everything. But that's fine. They'll come back another time and rediscover other things that they didn't get to see.
Pretty
and
soon
do.
you'll be selling 2-day passes, 3-day passes.
Actually, it's becoming a demand here. We do, actually we don't advertise a lot, but we do after 3 next day.
Too late.
After I just advertised it, right? There we go. After 3 next day free deal, where someone that's in after 3 o'clock in the afternoon can actually come back the next day free of charge, because we figured that if they're in after 3, they're not going to have time to really fully enjoy the Parc Safari experience. So they can come back the next day free of charge. It's amazing the number of people that do take advantage of that. We don't advertise it a lot. It's just a service that we provide our
That's
visitors.
pretty darn
when they do
nice
come.
for a family that drives 150 miles to get here, and the kids say, we want to go to Parc Safari tonight.
Yeah.
We don't want to wait tomorrow. So they come for a few hours and come back.
That's right.
Really great.
Yeah, and the thing that we're doing this summer is we're implementing a thing with our restaurant facility that after 5 o'clock, adults will be charged $8 and kids will be charged $5. If they go and eat in our restaurant, they will get fully credited for their main entrance fee. So they can actually come and eat and go on our rides and see some of the other things. A lot of the animal areas aren't fully open at that time of night, but at least for an evening it's not going to cost them anything other than what they're going to pay for the food. So the rides would be basically free at that point. Or if they just simply want to come in after 5 o'clock at $8 and $5 a head is not expensive either. So it's not a bad deal.
All right, and we're going to continue our tour in just a moment.
We have a train.
See, yeah, we have a train, he says.
Hear the train?
Oh, I like that sound.
I don't know what's happening with it, but something's...
Well, Loco Loco, it doesn't mean we're all out of our minds, but you're out of your minds if you don't come here. We followed the train tracks right into the Loco Loco because Calvin was beginning to wilt in the parking lot. We didn't want that to happen. This is really nice in here, Dan.
Yeah, it's great. It's based on a whole theme of a train with sort of an old train station right here, which is called Gari La Mushi, which is basically means train station in Swahili again, African terms. And we have a front of an old steam engine train coming out of the tunnel, I guess. All sort of African carvings or simulated African carvings on the back wall. It's really neat. We have room for about 100.
Here comes the train.
There's a train.
Oh, that's neat.
We have room for about 116 people in here, and it's becoming very popular. Even with locals who come down and eat after hours. We don't have a restaurant this type around the Hemmingford area also too. We plan on sending out some flyers here to the local community, both on the north side and the south side of the border here, informing them of that we do exist and what we plan on doing is keeping this open through to Christmas at this point.
Oh, wow, not a bad scheme.
Yeah, and work Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sundays, probably in this restaurant and our boutique. And we've already got, I don't know, 4 or 5 Christmas parties already booked, small wedding booked, and hopefully allow us to have some sort of revenue flow during our, what would basically be off-season.
You didn't originally intend to serve lunch in here, but things kind of developed in spite of you yesterday.
Yeah, we've had, well, we opened Saturday, so this is, what are we, Thursday, so it's been open like 5 days. Day 1, we noticed people coming in wanting to eat, and day 2, it got more and more, 30, 40 people, so we put together a quick lunch menu. Our chef got him on board here, and okay, we're serving lunch tomorrow, get your stuff ready. And serve lunch. So we served some 90 people yesterday, and there's quite a few people in today, probably, maybe not quite that many, because we have a little less crowd in today, not being a holiday up here. And I'm sure this summer it'll be very popular also too.
I want you to hold this menu up. I want to hold it up so people can see some of the names. I want to know who did all this Swahili linguistics thing.
We had a lot of fun putting it together between myself and the gentleman that helped me design this menu. A lot of the names that you see on here, such as Thagu or Samaki or Kuku, are actually Swahili translations for pork or fish or chicken. However, we ran into some problems, and we even have kuku kebab, which is chicken kebab, and different stuff like that. We ran into some problems with certain words, such as entree or appetizer, which in Swahili just doesn't really exist.
Okay.
So we went to the point of actually
inventing
words ourselves. So zerpkana, which is soup, is an invented word, but it sort of fits that salimandanga, which is salad. And then, so we have a whole kids menu that goes along in here too, from Kawawamba Burger to Ganza Kidago to Mojo Bambino, which is a pizza. So we had a lot of fun putting all of this together. We even went so far as to create the story of Loco Loco, which is the story as to why this train is here, and why it exists as such, and how come we only see it parked here in the restaurant. So the story basically goes that this famous train that used to cross the 4 corners of Africa started out from Nairobi, and went through the mountains of Kilimanjaro and across the plains of Serengeti, which are all places that exist here at Parc Safari, and stopped at Timbuktu, which is the famous trading post. And in Timbuktu, all the talk around there was this magical temple that exists called Plast Jambo, or Temple Jambo. And this temple was supposed to have magical powers. So they changed their itinerary and went off in search of the Jambo Temple. And at the beginning of the temple was guarded by a rock formation of all sorts of animal lords at the beginning of this temple. So they got further and further in the jungle, and the vegetation got more dense, until finally they couldn't go any further. So instead of turning around, they realized that they'd reached such a gorgeous place that they decided to build this enchanting little town around their train. And to this day, they still haven't gone back, because they figured that they found the magical place that they were looking for. So this is the whole story of Loco Loco.
Here's the only guy in the world that can turn one paragraph into 10 pages.
There we go.
What a great storyteller you are.
Loco.
That's neat.
Yeah,
that's really neat. This is a wonderful place here.
So we do things with our servers and our waitresses to make people aware of Loco Loco and why it exists and different stuff like that, and just to create a whole dining experience. And you can eat food anywhere, and everybody eats food 3 times a day, but the idea is to create an experience that you're not going to get anywhere else. So with all the trees and all the sounds and everything else that goes on in this place, that's hopefully we'll do that.
And the little kids, give them a reason to beg mom and dad to come back later in the summer and next year, and give them pleasant memories of childhood. I mean, that's what it's all about. We're all kids at heart.
Well, that's for sure. This place, we've been open a week, has been very popular. I'm more than pleased with the success here. We've actually had companies book Christmas parties here before we've been built. I've got a wedding here in August that she came in and said, wow, yeah, I want to do this here, something different, something new. So I think it's going to be a major attraction, or major addition to what we do have here at the park. It's something that our guests were demanding of us in the past, to have a place where they could go down, sit down, relax, where it's nice and cool in the hot summer days, and I think we've achieved that.
We're standing right on the bridge, and it even feels cooler with water on both sides, Danny.
Yeah, it does.
Where are we?
This is our magic, it's called our Magic Creek water area. We have 3 artificial lakes, the one we see here, there's another one down there, and then a third one behind that, all interconnected by a lazy river. So you can hop on an inner tube here and go down our lazy river ride. It takes maybe about 15 minutes to do the tour on the tubes, and the final descent is actually through a 250-foot tunnel. It's not fast. It's you can get on with your child and go down through this tunnel and splash down in our third lake. This is more of a cement or a pool type area, but the second lake is very much sand based, so it's more like you're at the beach type thing, and it's very, very popular here. This is we started construction on this, I believe, in 1987. Basically due to the fact that we noticed that when it got hot like it is today, our visitors would actually, the number of visitors actually decline. So this has really helped us maintain our attendance levels on days when it reaches 85, 90 degrees here, which seems to be more and more common these days. So people now know that they can come and cool off in the Magic Creek, and so they come out here even when it is hot.
So bring the bathing suits, for goodness sake, right?
There you go. If you leave it at home, we can have all sorts of stuff available for you in our boutiques.
That's true too. Yeah, I would imagine that would be true.
Bring your bathing suit. I mean, you can see people just sitting on the beach as if they were at the ocean side here, and come here and enjoy themselves for the day.
And over behind you is a kiddies area, way over that way?
Yeah, over there is what we call Lake Mombasa, which is a kids water play area. It should be operational by the weekend. We're just putting the final coats of paint on the repairs that we're doing on it. It's all sorts of water play apparatus for basically kids under 8 years of age. Water fountains and hoses and little mini slides. We even have a kids car wash that kids can go through. It looks like a car wash, but they get wet and everything like that. About a foot and a half worth of water. But what it's done is that in this area here, we were finding before, a lot of parents were very leery about letting their 4- and 5-year-olds go in because it can be 2.5 to 3 feet deep. And so it takes all the smaller children out of this area and takes them over to there. For our lifeguarding staff, it's a lot better too. And it's just a fun area for the kids.
Well, you know, I had to come all the way up here into Hemingford to find the rest of my family. This is a neat space up here too. You told me, Danny, that the place was devastated with the ice storm. There we go, ice storm again, and that's another tragic thing, but the space remains, and it'll come back if we all live long enough.
Yeah, well, this is probably the one area of the park that probably got most affected by the ice storm. We'd already taken out a number of trees just to allow people to visually see the animals in here, and probably because of that, the trees that were left were pretty much open, and they seem to really be affected by the ice. We've had to cut down a lot of them, so the shade that was up here no longer exists. Although I do see a lot of these popular trees and things like that are really coming back. It'll probably take a couple of years before they start to show any major improvement here, but eventually it will. Right out here is our chimpanzees. There should be 3 or 4 of them. There's 2 here anyway. And next to that, over in this section, is Japanese macaques. And macaques are neat because they're the only primates that are capable of swimming.
No kidding.
Yeah, chimps won't swim. They've got too much muscle and not enough fat. and so they're not very buoyant. But macaques will swim. They come from the mountainous areas in Japan. They're also known as Japanese snow monkeys.
Yes.
And you might have seen them on some National Geographic stuff where they're actually throwing snowballs, and they live in the hot springs area in Japan. And so as such, they're able to stay outside during our winter times. They have fun in the snow here in the winter, so they're probably a lot easier to keep per se than say chimps, which have to be kept at room temperature, 55, 60 degrees during the winter time. They're very, very much like you and me, and any colder than that, and it's not too good for their health.
Years ago, there used to be a drive-through area with the monkeys, and there was there was a lot of humor in more ways than one, and finally it met a timely demise.
Yes, in one respect, it was probably one of the most popular features of our drive-through area when you had these baboons riding around on your car. But the flip side of that was the fact that these baboons really liked wipers and vinyl tops and mirrors and all sorts of other things like that. And so a lot of people were very leery about taking their $20,000 or whatever dollar car through and having it destroyed by these monkeys. So we came up with this sort of novel approach of displaying these animals where you're on a 10-foot high walkway, and there below, people seem to really like it. It's one of our more popular features here at the park, and all the studies and surveys that we do next to the animal reserves. They enjoy coming up here and watching monkeys and the antics of all the monkeys, and watch the monkeys interact one between the other, chasing one another, picking fleas off their fur, and just different other stuff that monkeys do. So we were very leery when we changed over because of the popularity of the monkey section in the drive-through. And we're very aware that we had to create something that would replace that popularity. And I think it's been 10 years since we've done it, and this area here has been very successful.
You can tell by the way that the kids linger and say, "What's that, Mommy?" and snapping pictures and so on, that they like the area. So you've done it again.
Yeah, and to that, along with this area too, prior to making the changes up on this elevated walkway, the lions and tigers and wolves and hyenas were free to roam around in the reserve area, so which meant that the visitors had to keep their windows closed. Not everybody 10 years ago, and still not everybody, has air conditioning in their car. Hot days like today became almost unbearable in people's cars.
Been there, done that.
Yeah. So we've also not only taken the monkeys out of the drive-thru area, but taking the lions and tigers and basically the felines and the more dangerous animals out of that area also, and display them back here. It accomplishes two things. One, people can drive through the reserve with their windows fully down and enjoy and feed all the animals that come up to their car. And B, people can get a lot closer to the animals up in this area and sit and spend their time rather than have to worry about blocking traffic or whatever else, enjoying our white tigers or enjoying our monkeys and different other animals like that we do have up here.
That's great. Let's continue our walk. A lot of great natural sound effects here, from the monkeys to the show that's going on, to the theater, to some big old bullfrog that just went bonk. And just before we turned the camera on, we were remembering the story of Perry's Mills. Before I started helping Calvin with his television show, I was in the radio business in Plattsburgh for 35 and a half years. And I remember one year I did a lot of stories about Parc Safari. We did a lot of things promoting the place, but we did a lot of things when the monkeys got out, and even though you guys didn't let them out on purpose, we know that for a fact, it did gain a lot of international publicity.
Yeah, it sure did. I don't recall exactly the year. I think it was 88 or 89 if I remember right. To be very honest with you, the story behind that is human error that didn't close a gate properly.
It usually is, yeah.
And we've since implemented stricter rules as how these things run with double fencing and different things like that. Anyway, the long and short of it, the keepers came in the morning to feed the monkeys, and there's no monkeys, and some 80 Japanese macaques flew the coop here, and they tend to roam in groups mostly. We were able to round up about half of them within about the first 2 days. But a group of them, I don't remember how many, it's probably 30 or so, crossed over the border. I guess sent all the sensors on the border wacky when they went across the border. Nothing at all. Border Patrol was phoning us up and whatever else, wondering what's going on here. And ended up at, I think it's Armstrong's were their name, farm in Perry's Mills.
Calvin remembers, he's shaking his head.
They sort of adopted their barn and stayed in there for most of the summer. Now
we had blow-by-blow live reports. I tell you, when I started in that radio business, I never had an idea that I've had so many animal stories. I mean, we had roaming bison, and then we had the macaques that were down there. That was interesting for you that year.
It was definitely, and we wanted to make sure that we got them all back, and so we didn't go in there and try and scare them off. So we made a deal with the Armstrongs, who were just super with this whole thing, to allow them to feed them and make them feel at home for I think 2 or 3 weeks that they were down there. Yeah, so that we ended up eventually capturing them and bringing them all back in. But we had to secure the barn in such a way that if someone walked in there, they couldn't get out of it, and so we slowly did all that and finally rounded them all up and brought them all back. The long and the short is probably the best publicity we ever had here. I mean, we made the news not only in the area here, but nationwide, not only in Canada, but the U.S. also too. And anyway, they're all back and secure. We found monkeys all over the place. The problem with them mainly was the adolescent males, which is the same as in our society here, decided that they knew everything and took off by themselves. And those were the main problems. The groups that stayed together were easier to catch. But the adolescent males that decided they knew everything and took off individually were the harder ones to catch. Please say we got them all back, but we had monkeys as far as 50 and 60 miles from here.
That's hard to believe, isn't it? I didn't realize they would range that far.
I remember a funny story where we got a phone call from the McDonald's at Champlain at Route 11 and I-87.
Oh, I remember that one.
About monkeys sitting on their roof at the McDonald's. I said, oh yeah, here we go, our monkeys eating French fries and Big Macs at McDonald's. There we go.
Yeah, the seagulls. But that was quite an escapade. You never know what's going to happen when you get up in the morning. Huh?
That's very true too. Very true.
Here we are at the theater in the woods, and the dogs are here. We're just going to let you watch it for a while. As you heard Danny tell us earlier, these dogs have come from various places. Most of them are mongrels and mutts that come from humane societies and so on. Just watch them for a minute and enjoy. On our way over to see the white tigers, we find the cheetahs.
Yeah, to me they're just one of the more gorgeous, elegant animals. Yeah, just sleek, and they're the fastest. I believe, if I'm not right, if I'm not wrong, they're the fastest land animals also too, and they're like the greyhound of felines here. Just gorgeous animals.
They don't get too fat here either. They keep moving a lot, don't they?
Yes, they do. All these animals have very much regimented diets too. Try to keep it as natural as possible, to the point where they actually have what they call starve days, where they'll go for a day without us feeding them, similar to the way they would go in the wild. And each animal has their own specific diet. They all have their own specific medical history and whatever else involving each animal also too. So it's very much a science involved in just feeding and keeping these animals too.
And your partner's an expert, right?
Yeah, John is very much the animal expert here. I'm more on the administrative end of it, but having 25 years surrounded by animals, some of the knowledge rubs off a little bit. But yeah, he's very much the animal expert. And we've got another gentleman, our zoo director, who's been here for 15 to 18 years, who's also pretty much an expert too on what happens with animals in captivity too. So we got a good staff surrounding, and he's got 4 or 5 people, some great technicians that's been with him for a long time also. Hakuna Matata is...
Hakuna Matata, boy, we got the camera going now. We know what these creatures are.
Yeah, they're, from the infamous movie The Lion King, Pumbaa fame, African warthogs. Probably not the most prettiest animal in the world, that's for sure.
The top all yawns, right there.
Exactly, there we go. But... actually,
one tusker here.
Yeah, he's obviously lost it in a fight. Anyway, when we originally put this exhibit together, we were thinking about making it really nice, but these guys just dig everything up all over the place, and they like to get in the mud holes here. They're covered in mud, and that's what they enjoy. Actually, they're also very clean animals, to the point that they have one area what they use here to do their business in, and just like pigs, similar to pigs, very very similar, although not. They're also, you have to be careful, and they do tend to have very much of a mean streak in them too.
Oh, they do?
Yeah. I wouldn't walk in there with them. They're liable to run you into the fence if they could. But
you got a couple of those, huh?
Yeah, we got a couple of those. Yeah, they're not really endangered species. There's a lot of them that exist in the African continent, but here in North America, there's probably maybe about 150 altogether.
No kidding, all told.
All told. So we have 2 of them here at the park.
That is indeed a face only a mother could love.
Oh, for sure, that's for sure. Yeah.
You're gonna run. Yeah, he's sticking his tongue out at us. That's utter disdain, Danny.
Yeah, this is a white tiger. White tigers are very, very rare. As far as I know, they don't really exist in the wild anymore. The only white tigers that do exist on this planet exist in captivity. They're basically from India. They're probably the equivalent of an albino human being, and these are albino tigers. And in the wild, their problem is that they don't camouflage very well because of their white color. The normal tiger, who's sort of orange and black, and that can blend in with the trees, but these guys just don't blend in at all. So they're very much hunted over lengths of time because of the fact that they were so unique and so different, and people had a lot of myths about white tigers. My information is that there exist anywhere from about 120 to 150 in the world presently. We have one here. It's not ours, but it's here on exhibit this summer, and it's been here for the last couple summers, and hopefully for the next couple of years too. We've sort of have a breeding loan with them. We're trying to breed them with our tigers eventually, a couple of generations down the road, to have white tigers as an offspring, which is a possibility.
That would be neat, huh?
It would be very neat. Yeah,
it's neat. In the meantime, it's neat to see just one.
Just one, yeah, because you're not going to see them at. To my information, there's only 2 in Canada at the present time on exhibit, one here and one in Toronto, and you just don't see them everywhere at all. They're sort of neat animals.
It's great, and over here the lions, of course.
Yeah.
Look at this one with the paw up on the tree.
Yeah, it looks like they're enjoying the summer afternoon heat here and and sleeping, and the male's just wondering what we're doing here looking at him, I think.
But he is magnificent.
Yeah, he is very, very much so, yep.
Well, you know, we could have left the camera on and seen Calvin trying to scramble over the fence as the white tiger chased us down the walkway, but those things are not for family consumption, and so we just try to maintain our cool and get back here. Actually, the tiger did get up and kind of kept a good eye on us as we walked out of there, Danny.
Yeah, he did, or she did, I should say. I guess she's not used to seeing a camera, neither you, me, or Calvin walking that close to her, so I just wanted to make sure what was going on, that's all.
Her tongue just seemed to come out a little farther than usual. Calvin says, let's see, now the last one out is lunch. I was thinking in terms, get out of my way. I don't know how high these things can jump. But we're back out here in the plaza, and you told us about the face painter, very popular. Well, look at the beautiful job she does.
Yeah, she does a great job. The kids really like it. Gail's really super with these kids too, and it's a very, very, very popular thing. It's not something you can get done everywhere, and in the summertime, actually, they line up here are waiting for her to paint their face, and it's a fun activity.
A lot of people do it, but not very many do it that well. She's terrific.
Yeah, she's great. It's something she actually just took up 3-4 years ago. She'd never really done it before, and she's really good. She's got a good way with people, and it's a sort of a little attraction here for something else to do.
Now we're just about running out of time, but there are some other things here that we haven't seen. You told us there. First of all, let's go back in time. Many years ago, as Calvin just mentioned, when we were walking down through, there was just about a drive-through and a couple of boutiques and not much.
Yeah, back when the park originally opened in '72, and for the first 3 or 4 years, there was basically the drive-through animal reserve, which was very unique in itself because people hadn't seen that around here. But other than that, there was a couple small boutiques and a restaurant and a small petting zoo. So in the beginning, average length of stay was probably like in the 3-hour neighborhood. We've had to add a lot of attractions and things to keep people here over the time, and we've done that. We sort of skirted around some of the area in the back here, but we have a deer park, which is fun for the kids. They can go in. We've got some 60 fallow deer in there that come up to you and eat right out of your hand, along with some goats and sheep and different other animals like that. It's fun to see the expression on kids' faces when they get a deer to actually eat right out of their hand. The other show area, we saw a little bit of the show at the theater in the woods. Other major show is at called our Pepsi Stadium, which is a bird of prey show. We actually fly owls and hawks and eagles and falcons in a demonstration of flight. It's a very interesting show to see a falcon or just see an eagle fly. It's just so impressive to see their wingspan up that close. You don't really get an opportunity normally, especially here in the Northeast, to see eagles that close. Along with just up the walkway here is we have a new addition we put in last year. It's called Congo Golf, which is just a mini golf area for something else to do. And of course we have Nairobi Park, which is just beyond the Congo Golf, which is another kids play area, which is also very, very popular with the kids too. And we haven't even mentioned the rides, all the amusement rides. Again, we're not La Ronde, or neither are we the Great Escape. We cater to more of a smaller or younger crowd, so we have rides more geared towards the younger generation, carousels and Ferris wheels, and a couple of other stuff that adults enjoy too. But very much a little bit for everybody and something for everybody to see and do.
Well, let's talk about the hours here. I don't think we mentioned them. You open up what time and close what time?
We open daily from 10 a.m. Although some days we actually open the gates a little earlier because of the fact that there's people waiting to get in. So we open officially we open at 10. A lot of times in the summertime it's quarter to 9, even 9:30. People get here early. They want to spend the whole day. At night, starting in July, we're open at least until 9 o'clock at night. Now, some of the activities, like the drive-through, can't stay open that late because it takes them about an hour to feed and put some of the animals back into their night quarter. So that closes at 5. The water area closes around 6:30, and some of the animal areas in back, like the deer trail and the elevated walkway, 7:30 at night. The ride area, 8:30, 9 o'clock, and the boutiques and restaurants after 9 o'clock, depending on the amount of people here during any specific day. So it's very much a whole day here from mid-morning till after the sun goes down.
Our viewers have only had a chance to see a fraction of the animals. You have You were telling us off camera how many animals you have. It's amazing.
Yeah, we have some 85 different species, which represents about over 800 different animals coming from basically the four corners of the world. I know you asked me the question before how many countries we had represented here. It's hard to say. I know we have animals from every continent other than Antarctica, even some things from Australia with our wallabies and emu throughout North America also too, bison and deer, and as well as South America, Africa, and throughout Europe and Asia.
Danny, I got to thank you so much for inviting us here today. We'll be back with our grandchildren for sure. This has been a great experience.
Thank you. It's been great talking to you and showing you around here. We didn't get a chance to see everything, but we got a general overview of what Parc Safari is, and hopefully people will come up and see us this summer.
Well, John, we knew he wasn't trying to avoid us. We'll get him next time.
John's very busy these days with wrapping up our construction here and also with tending to the different other stuff that goes along in the park. So you got stuck with me today.
Maybe we'll come back to see you in the fall and see just how much you've accomplished. I think it's terrific.
Great. I'd love to do that. Thank you very much.
Thanks again. And you never know where we're going to be next time for a program called Our Little Corner.
Welcome to North Country Commerce, a business and community service of the Plattsburgh North Country Chamber of Commerce.
Today's North Country Commerce is made possible by a grant from the following: Partners Health Plans of Plattsburgh.
Welcome to North Country Commerce, a business and community service of the Plattsburgh North Country Chamber of Commerce. I'm Gary Douglas, and we're at another one of those fantastically successful, fantastically fun, and appetizing chamber events, as they all are. What event is this?
This is called Taste of the North Country, and it is probably one of our most awesome events. It's absolutely incredible. We're going to have probably 600 people here tonight, and if you haven't heard about this event, it's something that you definitely have to come check out next year. We have more than 20 restaurants who are here giving away samples of their specialties. We have Bootleggers and Lake Placid Pub and Brewery giving away samples of their beer. We've got 4 different wine and liquor stores giving samples of their wine, and Pepsi's giving away Pepsi. There's more food and beverages than you can possibly imagine in this building tonight. And on top of all of that, we have about 400 auction items that have all been donated by our chamber members, and we are auctioning those off tonight. It's going to be absolutely incredible.
Now, this is the 3rd year of this event, and it just keeps getting bigger every year.
It actually is so big every year that we have to keep moving to a different venue every year. We started out at the Best Western, and that was great for the first year, but we actually ran out of room there. And then we went to the College Angel Center the next year, and that was great, but we ran out of room there. So now we're in the Field House, and this is the same facility we use for our Business Expo. And we have room to grow here. We have room to spread out a little bit more each year if we need to. And by the looks of it, we're going to need to do that again next year, because we've got more stuff than we even expected for this year. So
that rumor that this event may be going to the Molson Center in a couple of years isn't necessarily off the wall.
I think we'll be there, definitely. If we had a bigger building, I'm sure that we could fill it.
Now, the purpose of this event, other than giving a time for folks to come out and have great food and bid on some great things before Christmas and all of that, is actually to promote business, though, isn't it?
Yes, it definitely is. During our Business Expo, we promote a lot of business, but it doesn't give the restaurants a chance to really shine like they can tonight. The restaurants, in order to promote themselves, really need to let the people taste their food, and they're going to get a good sample of that tonight. All of the restaurants have gone out, and they've picked their favorite things to offer people, and they've got samples ready for everybody, and this really gives them a chance to shine. They absolutely love the event. Everybody who's done it in the past has come back and done it again. We've got a few new people this year, which is a really good experience for them. So it's definitely a chance for that, as well as for all of the companies that donated auction items. Right. We had more than 350 companies who donated auction items this year, and it's a chance for them to show people what they can do. Some of them are donating services from their company, and a lot of people might not even know that company offers that service until they see it here tonight. So it's something that they will think of in the months to come.
So it's a great promotion, and for businesses out there that maybe haven't gotten in on the first 3 of these, be sure and talk to us about next year. Do you think we'll be doing this again next year?
I think we definitely will be doing this again next year, if I recover from this year.
Now, there's several people involved in this. The chairman of this event is?
The chairman is Don Dooley, and he's done it for us in the past, and he's doing it for us again. He also happens to be the MC of the event, and he's going to co-MC the event with Jay Ward, who is one of our major sponsors. Actually, he is the major sponsor. We have a lot of people that help out with the event, but Ward Lumber is the lead sponsor for this event, and they help make this possible. And so they will be co-MCing the auction tonight, so it should be a lot of fun. And we have 2 auctioneers, Steve Brody and Steve Martin, and for the live auction,